Oh my god! Oh my god! What's wrong, Jersey guy? Askarov got called up for Milwaukee. It's happening finally, isn't it? Calm down, relax. It's just a precaution because Lankinen missed morning practice. He's totally fine. He's gonna be Saros' backup against Toronto Wednesday night. Though I hope he doesn't hurt Milwaukee's chances in games being away from them for too long. Well, since he's been called up, why don't we give him a start before we send him back down to Milwaukee? They have Montreal tomorrow night. Preds lose 2-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs Wednesday night inside Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The Preds' 4-game win streak is over as they suffered their first regulation loss in the calendar year of 2023 and their first regulation loss in their last 7 games played overall. One loss on this road trip that we pretty much all expected would happen, but it was a lot closer than all of us thought it would be as the Preds again come up short when need be to at least get a point. Hopefully they can bounce back tomorrow in Montreal as they hope to take 8 of a possible 10 points on this 5-game road trip, but first, on to this game. Early in the first period, Matt Murray made a great 2-on-1 save with Ryan McDonagh and Tanner Jeannot barreling down on him. TNT broadcast that I chose to watch this game on made sure to trigger my PTSD as they mentioned that Matt Murray shut out the Preds when he was with the Penguins in the 2017 Stanley Cup Final in games 5 and 6. And I thought to myself, kind of softly out loud, yeah, he wouldn't have had one of those 2 shutouts if the refs hadn't screwed up. Hashtag decision scored. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm over 2017. Soon after the 2-on-1, Tanner Jeannot gets tagged for interference, and the Preds held their own with this high-powered Maple Leafs offense that did have Austin Matthews out of its lineup and prevented them from scoring. Not to be outshone by Matt Murray, UC Saros was great as well from start to almost the finish of the game as he made a great cross-ice save on Liljegren of the Maple Leafs. Shots fairly even at this point of the first period. Both of these teams playing the first of back-to-backs. Just over 3 minutes left to go in the first period. Bad matchup for the Preds. This sort of thing sometimes happens when you get the last change and bad turnover. Preds' 4th line is on the ice. The Leafs' 1st line is on the ice. And William Nylander comes in. It's a 2-on-1. He gets it over to the Leafs captain, John Tavares, who makes no mistake, beats Saros, and the Leafs have their 1-0 lead. Props to UC Saros' shutout streak. Sure, it was only just over 80 minutes since he had last allowed a goal to second period against Carolina, but in that span, he had made 89 consecutive saves. Clock winds down in the first period. The Leafs end up still ahead 1-0 after 20 minutes, but the Preds are holding their own, well, only down by 1 and not being outshot by too much, 15-10 Leafs after the first period. Leafs with a couple of chances early in the second period to increase their lead, but UC Saros, who is playing really well, he always seems to do this after slow starts at the beginning of the season, is dialed in and denies the Leafs there, which seems to fire up the Preds because just over 90 seconds into the second period, play in the Leafs zone. Matt Duchene keeps it in. He gets it down to Yusel Parson, who finds a wide open. How do you leave a man who is just about to score his 8th goal in the last 8 games for the Preds? Philip Forsberg right in front of Matt Murray. He gets one shot. There's a rebound, and he seemingly just is so confident in the way he's playing right now. No look, taps in the rebound, tying this game at 1. Unfortunately, not a lot to report in that second period because overall the shots were 7 apiece. Yes, I said 7 for the Leafs, 7 for the Preds. How could these 2 teams, especially the Leafs, only get 7 shots on goal in a period? But I guess that's credit to the Preds defense, who were doing well. They were killing penalties. The Preds penalty kill was strong. You hope that it could hold up and not allow a power play goal to the blue and white. Preds have a chance about the 2-minute mark left in the second period. Jeremy Lauzon, who's not taking penalties, he is getting shots on goal, creating offense. He gets a shot off that's tipped by Nito Niederreiter, but Matt Murray denies that one. Preds with a desperate push late in the second period as the final seconds tick down in the middle frame, feeling that they can get another goal and take the early lead going into the third. Matt Duchene is hauled down. There's no call. I guess this is a sign that in the third period, the refs would let a lot of things go. Duchene and Hines, to an extent, very ticked off at the refs, but alas, there's nothing they can do. This game is tied at 1 after 40 minutes. Just over a minute into the third period, Preds with the early chance to try and take the lead as Granlund sets up Johansson, but he's denied by Matt Murray. Fast forward 6 minutes into the third period, and it's Calle Jarnkrok making pleasantries with his former teammate. He gets a great chance to give the Leafs the lead at that point, but UC Saros is squared up to the shot and doesn't give Jarnkrok anything to shoot at. About 7 minutes into the third period, with probably his save of the game only to be outdone by the go-ahead goal if he had been able to dive over and stop it. At the 7-minute mark into the third period, UC Saros is able to see that Michael Bunting is able to backhand pass it to Kerfoot, and there is Saros to keep it out, keeping it as a 1-1 tie. About halfway through the third period, Pierre Engvall gets called for holding Roman Jossi's stick. You can't miss it. The refs at least called that one, and yes, again, the Preds power play comes up short. That's got to be fine-tuned a little bit on the fly, guys. It was doing so well. They're getting power play goal after power play goal and game after game. But it's gone into a little bit of a dry spell. And near the end of it, Nito Niederreiter just misses getting called for elbowing David Kampf, who fortunately would be okay. And these two teams play on 5-on-5. We reached the last quarter of regulation. Game still tied at 1, looking as if maybe the Preds can get this to overtime and get a well-earned point, hoping to get the second one in a hostile environment that is Toronto. But with 4:12 to go, whistle blows. Mark Janikowski has gotten tagged for high-sticking Morgan Riley. He drew blood. You know what that means, a double minor. And the Preds are going to hang on for their life. In this one, they kill off the first half of the double minor. Some good clears, some good defensive efforts. But finally, just under 80 seconds, Leafs passing it around. William Nylander is able to get a passing lane, and Saros cannot get himself set over to a wide open Mitch Marner. And you see, I give him tons of credit for trying, for how hard he worked in this game, but his offense didn't show up for him, and on that pass, he had no chance to dive over. Marner is able to bury it into the net, giving the Leafs a late 2-1 lead. And now it's desperation time with under 75 seconds, where the Preds are going to have to find some sort of way to get one goal. At least they're off the power play, because that power play goal by the Leafs that gave them the 2-1 lead came on the second half of the double minor. So at least that's over, and they can play 5-on-5. They pull Saros with just under a minute left to go in regulation. Late face-off inside the Leafs zone. Preds win it, but Jossi's shot and then tip and scramble right in front of Matt Murray. And Matt Murray and the Leafs play good defense. Shut the door there. Preds can't set up with the remaining time left on the clock. Clock runs down, and the Leafs hang on to a hard-fought 2-1 win. Well, the perfect run into the new year is over. We knew it couldn't last forever. Props to the Preds for playing like alley cats and keeping this game close, especially in the shot total. They have been much better since the Carolina game last week. Despite keeping it close on the shot clock, the Preds need to work on their faceoffs, and they need to be much more disciplined if they expect to win the game in Montreal tomorrow, which they should. You know, I question whether or not the Preds should dress him in this game, considering how undisciplined he played in Ottawa on Monday, but I have to call out myself for what I said about Lauzon coming into this game, and props to him for not taking a single minor penalty in this game. So the road trip ends tomorrow in a easy winnable game in Montreal before the Preds head home for a 3-game homestand starting Saturday, with 3 teams on a docket that they all should be there too. Get at least 6 of a possible 8 points, if not more, in these next 4 games, and you can still feel confident, Preds fans, that this team is heading in the right direction, hopefully back into a playoff spot. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video, click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on that channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption. I feel like Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget watching the Preds lose another game to Matt Murray. They'll get you next time, Matt Murray. Next time!